Are men more vulnerable to temptation than women? Are we totally helpless and hapless in the face of a little bit of temptation?
Absolutely, yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah, we can totally snap our fingers and
go away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go away.
We're so good.
No.
Women just know how to worky. I think men are actually very simplistic. Like very simple.
Yes, well, my
Very
simple
simple
brain
needs.
had to think about that. Yeah. Yeah, with
How
very
would you
simple needs.
conclude
We need beer, we need TV and food. Oh, and sex. Sex. Thrown in there. I forgot about that.
That's it.
In no
Really,
particular
yeah.
order or all of them together.
All together is good.
Yes.
You know. I remember my mother used to say years ago that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Oh my God, it's so funny. And I actually really did take that advice on board, and I fed my husband very well.
Okay.
And he proposed.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
It worked.
So you lured him in with the food.
Yes.
It's like breadcrumbs for
Yes.
birds.
Food and sex, and then
Beer.
that. No, he didn't drink, so
Right.
didn't we?
So the
I
first
didn't even
two-
need that. I only
Didn't he?
needed
He
two
was,
things.
he was so vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
God, the poor
So
man.
great. I know.
Poor man.
He's wonderful though. He's a very happy man.
Right. So just keep him fed up.
Happy wife, happy life.
When I was thinking of this topic, what popped into my head was Adam and Eve. Hold on a minute. It was the woman that was seduced into, she was tempted and she gave in to it.
The snake.
The snake. The
I
snake. and the
wonder,
snake,
was it a trouser snake?
The snake was a man.
Of course it was a man.
Yeah.
Satan himself.
Yeah, and but God is a man as well. And like, what was he doing, like, with his design of men if he made us so vulnerable? Surely he should have known. Don't put this design flaw into the men.
It's really strange because men think that they're so all powerful.
And we are.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hardy and tough
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I can do this and I can do everything, and I'm amazing.
Yeah. You see, that's why men take more risks, because we're naively confident in our abilities. Yeah. I can do that. I can fight that buffalo.
Yes.
I can wrestle it to the ground. I can walk across the Grand Canyon on a tightrope. I can do that, no problem.
Temptation to impress the woman. It's not it.
Well, yes, to impress, but also then to prove to themselves and their peers.
How strong they are.
Yeah, so like this, it's a thing with young males then too. Kind of, I dare you to do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I dare
Whether
you.
it's to drive too fast or to do something. And it's your status within your community of peers, and that your peers being female as well as males.
Being impressed by you.
But women like men to impress them, don't they?
I think so, yeah. I like to be impressed, I have to say.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to be around a man who was just totally helpless.
No. I think, like, what initially probably attracted me to my husband was the fact that he was very physically fit and had a background in martial arts, something I found very interesting, and he was strong and he was a hard worker.
Did
plasterer,
you take risks?
Loved that,
Did he,
yes.
was
He used to drive
he
very fast as well.
Yeah, I used to drive
but
very
then
fast.
I drove very fast too.
As well.
So I think women have evolved, and come out more of themselves as well over the years and allowed to show their more masculine or more
masculine side. But yeah, look, we've talked about this before, on camera and off camera, but I've an issue with this. Like, women, it's fine for women to embrace their masculine side and girl power and all of this kind of thing. But you never hear men say, I'm going to embrace my feminine side.
I think we hear that all the time, that men are
Where?
embracing their feminine side.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
Absolutely hear that all the time.
Where do you hear that?
Men are always trying to tap into their more feminine side
they're
or their
not.
emotions or some frigging
They're
thing like
not
that.
when they're watching
They
MMA
are.
or football.
I never hear a woman saying, I'm going to tap into my masculine side. It's like the complete opposite. What man wants to see a masculine woman?
Well, I suppose
Crickets!
What popped into my head was, I remember watching, it was a thing about female bodybuilding, and there was this woman,
Yeah.
she'd taken steroids, and she'd a little bit of facial hair and hair in her chest as well, but she was with this man, and she was about 3 times the size of the man.
God.
She could literally pick him up and carry him under her arm.
Wow.
But he was attracted to that.
Yeah.
But I think it looks odd. Like, a lot of women too would say that they don't want to be a man with a man who's smaller than her.
Yeah.
not as tall.
Yeah.
And then they want the man to be significantly taller because then she can wear heels.
Heels, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, do you think that while both sexes are tempted, that men find it harder to control their impulses?
I do think so, yeah. I think women are a little bit better. But then the first thing that pops into my head when you ask me that question is you know, of a sexual nature. You know, it's easier maybe for women to control their sexual desires, but also it's easier for them to seduce a man or to, you know, tempt him, you know.
Right.
But then what do you think about that?
Well, do you think testosterone is the male, well, it's the female, it's the main sex hormone in males and females. But like, well, some people would say, women are as horny as men.
Yeah,
They're not.
I think they are.
They're not.
It depends on the woman.
They're not. They
Depends
can't be.
on how comfortable
Because
you are with
if
your body and
testosterone
yourself.
is the sex hormone, men have got 15 times more testosterone than women.
Yeah, but that also contributes to anger outbursts.
Oh, it does, and
you know,
and taking
the
risks and everything, and
risk-taking. So it's not just about sex. That's not by all the testosterone does.
But if we've got 15 times more testosterone, are we not 15 times hornier?
I don't think so, Paul. No, I think you're kind
I'd be interested
reading into that
for people to let us know what they think of that. I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody, you know, a medical doctor.
How would you measure
really
it? 15 times more? If like it could be 13 and a half times more.
That's an interesting statistic.
We could set up some kind of an experiment. I don't know.
Paul full of estrogen. Is he still horny?
But isn't estrogen? I don't think men don't have any estrogen. I don't think.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No.
Although we can get estrogen from our environment, and I remember reading something about, I think it was cellophane, like plastic stuff that food is covered in shops, and there can be estrogen on that, and that can pass into men. And
your chicken is pumped full of hormones and everything.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it's crazy.
Fish. I remember seeing something about fish. It was done in the UK. That because of pollution and because of plastic thrown into the sea, a lot of fish were overly imbued with estrogen, and then when men ate that estrogen, they
got sore boobs. That's so. Are you telling me that's why men have man boobs?
It could be because of fish.
Oh my god!
It's an interesting theory.
Wow.
And it might take me a while to prove it. But the other thing I was thinking about too is, and you're not going to disagree with me on this. Men are more visual than women when it comes to sex.
Again, I think that's a personal thing.
I think women like the chat, and they like to listen. They like to be told nice things. You're beautiful. You're sexy. I love you. They like to hear it. Whereas men are much more visual, and I think this is why it tends to be men that have more of a problem with porn than women do. Of course, a lot of porn is made by men for men, so it's not attractive to women. But if men are more visual, then isn't it easier for a woman to visually seduce a man, wear something sexy, give him the look, that kind of thing?
I suppose so, yeah.
I
can't see why it wouldn't be, but I suppose temptation isn't just about sex for us then. I mean, I suppose our biggest temptations are more like
food,
shopping,
food,
yeah, maybe possibly more like. I suppose in my experience, if I see some sort of a deal, on clothes or something like that online, or, something for my pet fish, for example, I think he's going to like,
and
or whatever. Those kind of things, lovely dreadlocks, as you were suggesting earlier. I do listen to you, Paul.
Right.
I definitely think that's more tempting to me than anything else.
So do you think that temptation then is estrogen based? Because I know I'm making a broad generalisation here, but I don't think, and I am going to contradict myself even as I say this, that men can be addicted to shopping. Even though I've just said at the start that I love gadgets, so I would, in that regard, I would shop for gadgets.
Yeah. Or tools. Jesus Christ, my husband and father-in-law.
Oh yeah.
Mad into tools.
Buy tools, you never. That will be handy.
Tools.
That big console will be handy if ever I'm picking up the pavement.
I don't buying power washers and stuff. It's like, what?
But you see, you can feel very emasculated with that. You can be a bit like Arnold Schwarzenegger if you've got 2 power washers and you go.
Yeah, 2 drills.
There you go.
I have these Black and Decker drills
Sigmund
here.
Freud would have a field day with that as well.
He'd love
Freudian
it.
imagery.
Absolutely.
So power tools.
Yeah. What's that about?
So both sexes then are driven by their hormones, but I would still contend that men are more vulnerable to temptation than women.
It just depends on the type of temptation then, I think, you know. I think men, you know, can be very tempting to women as well, especially if they have lots of money. That's really controversial now. I'm going to get hate for saying that.
Yes, and you should do. We are more than our wallets.
But you see, remember we did a podcast about, you know, the guy who's not a bit attractive looking at all.
The ugly little man with the nice girl and
butty little fella, and he had a beautiful supermodel on his arm. Do you know?
Yeah.
If he didn't have money, there's no way she'd be with him. It's the real, you know.
Because see, that ties into her shopping temptation thing. Then she can use his money to satisfy herself that way.
Yeah.
So she mightn't be satisfied with him as a man if he's kind of a runt of a man.
Yeah.
But she loves his
have
wallet.
other needs
so
met.
when they get married, should the celebrant in during the ceremony say, "Do you take this wallet to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold?
Yeah.
This card to use online."
But he's equally as attracted to her because she's so beautiful, you know.
So he's getting something out of it.
He's getting that. Yeah.
But would you have objections if it was the other way around? Do you know the way, like, you'd have this older woman and she'd have a toy boy, and she's a very rich and successful woman. Yeah. And she's got this younger man.
I think now, no, it doesn't bother me as much as it would have years ago, because conditioning...
Oh, would have bothered you years ago?
Yeah, conditioning would say, God, that's weird. You know?
She's using him.
Or he's using her.
No, she's using him.
Well, both.
He could be with somebody younger, more attractive, but he's with her.
Yeah.
Because she's got money.
Yeah. So he's using her.
Yes, but she's using him too. She's using her money to get the younger, nicer guy, rather than somebody who would be of a similar age to her.
Yeah. But it's both. It's both.
Yeah.
They're both getting something out of it. The same with the owl fella and the young one. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's the same idea.
Yeah, and I suppose this conversation could go on for...
Ever and ever.
Forever,
yes.
and never. But
what are your temptations? Just pop them in the comments down below if you feel comfortable enough to do that, and let us know what you think about what we were talking about today.
Yeah. We're happy headers. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.